Alright then. Hello everybody. Tonight I'll be doing yesterday's Premier League match, which was Virtus Pro against Fnatic, best of 3. I would love to cast it the same day it's played, but unfortunately my schedule doesn't really let me cast on Thursday nights, so I'm getting it to you one day delayed. Should be a good match though. Two fantastic teams, definitely both been. Should be a good match though. Two fantastic teams, definitely both been. Half the time I forget to do that. I'm sorry. Won't happen again. Well, okay, it probably will. Anyway, beyond that, let's go. And here we see the standard ban starting for VP. Coddle coming out very quickly. And that's actually Coddle kind of 50-50 ban or first pick a lot of the time because people are more interested in banning things like Batrider and Wisp. Well, there comes the Wisp ban. Batrider, Nyx Assassin, Wisp. Occasionally Darkseer, other bans that may or may not come out depending on what team they're playing as. Nature's Prophet, yeah, those Coddle more than any other team is targeted against Fnatic because they like to play such an explosive global sort of strat. They like to be able to, you know, if there's a hero out of position, they can always take advantage of that. If they need to consolidate and push, the Coddle lets them do that so much more easily, like after they get a pick off. And banning out the Nature's Prophet is definitely a targeted ban on Trixie. Usually, you almost never see the Nature's Prophet banned out in the first phase. That's all about trying to shut down Fnatic's presence. Now, with Magnus banned out right there, that means even if VP, I mean, they have a choice. I mean, Batrider, Nyx Assassin, but, you know, they can get now Batrider, Darkseer, any host of ridiculous heroes. Batrider Gyrocopter, Batrider Lifestealer, depending on what carry they want to run this game. But basically, it's something I was discussing in my last cast about drafting. If throughout the first series of bans there, Batrider Lifestealer, you leave one really good hero, like one hero that's just beyond everyone else, kind of god tier, like the Nyx Assassin, the Batrider, that hero's going to get picked up by the first picker. If you leave a couple of them, you're guaranteed to get one even if you have a second pick. It's this weird kind of art form, the first ban phase, because you don't want to let something completely ridiculous through that you can't deal with, but at the same time you want to make sure you leave yourself enough to keep so that your second pick is actually worthwhile and you can get a good double pick out of it. VP picking up Darkseer and Bane. Not surprising at all to see the Darkseer, and especially against the Lifestealer, not surprising to see the Bane, both the Enfeeble that will, of course, last even when he puts his Rage on, and, of course, the Fiend's Grip to help disable him out. And the Nightmare can disable the Batrider for ages on end. Very powerful and versatile hero, Bane. One of the stronger supports. He gets picked up a whole lot when there's Lifestealer. Oh, and they want a Gyrocopter too. So I wonder if that's going to be a safe lane solo Gyro, or if it's going to be a mid Gyro with an off lane Batrider. They could theoretically jungle the Bat. That's certainly not unheard of. Bat actually jungles incredibly fast. Why is this still up? Sorry, I sometimes forget to hide that panel. It's less of a big deal when the match is a decent length, but if, you know, the match is like a 10-minute stomp, you can see very obviously in the top right panel that, oh, this is a really short match. Chen banned out by Virtus Pro, not surprising. No-Tail loves to play that Chen. Fnatic loves to pick him up for that. Weaver banned out reasonably early by Fnatic. I feel like that's one you could have saved to see a couple more of their bans, try to see what kind of strategy they're trying to counter. Undying made it past the first phase. Although I think he's more favored in Southeast Asian Dota at the moment, but I hate that guy. I still think he's the tri-lane demolisher. Rubicon Enchantress is going to be the final couple bans from Virtus Pro. Solid supports, good junglers. I mean, here's the thing: if Fnatic's looking to run a jungler, they can theoretically do it with the Batrider still. So we'll see how they decide to lane this. They've left themselves very, very open. They have so many laning options over those first three. Similarly done for VP, the only one who you know is going to be in a specific lane is the Bane, because he's going to be in the tri-lane no matter what. Okay. Theoretically, you could run the Bane mid, but I don't think it's particularly likely in this situation.
10 seconds
but the Nyx and the Darkseer, obviously, either of them could be off lane, either of them could be mid, Nyx could be in the tri-lane. Lots of good options left open for them.
Reserve time.
Fnatic taking their time on their last ban. Luna. Yeah,
Dire
definitely. I
team
mean, when you're already looking at a Bane and a tri-lane to ruin the last hitting ability of your hard carry, the last thing you want is for someone like Luna to be giving them not only really strong harass, but incredibly easy last hits and denies. Especially if you're going to match try for try, definitely. You want to ban out the Luna. And Fnatic, I mean, they're aggressive enough. They could go for a try against try.
10 seconds remaining.
They also might just not want to deal with the Luna and the auto attack
5
damage, and the
seconds
fact that the
remaining.
early auto attack damage from Luna really kind of cripples the power of maxing Rage on that lifesteal early. Sure, it's really nice not to get a lot of the magic damage and the disable, obviously, but at the same time, you're still taking a whole lot of auto attack damage when that aura is on 3 or 4 heroes. Shadow Demon picked up by Virtus.pro, first pick of the second phase. Again, not just an incredibly versatile and powerful support hero, which does mean they're probably going to be, that kind of sets their lanes. They're looking for a carry now. But finishing what I was saying about the Shadow Demon, obviously the Demonic
5
Purge on the
seconds
Lifestealer,
remaining.
whenever he goes into Rage, slow him down, and Lifestealer's biggest problem is getting kited.
Reserve
So
time.
the Shadow Demon, incredibly powerful against him. And unlike the Bane, there's nothing you can do once that Demonic Purge comes out. If the Fiend's Grip comes out, you stun Bane. It's not that hard. It can be, depending on your lineup and your cooldowns and how he times it. When he has his BKB, if he ever goes for one, if he ever has the money for one, he usually doesn't. But in general, you can stop the Bane from getting off a full channel on that. Whereas the Demonic Purge just means your Lifestealer is going to be stuck running, 0 meters per second for a long
Dire
time.
team pick.
AA picked up. I'm wondering if this is going to be a Chilling Touch tri-lane AA. I've seen that a couple times recently. I think B-Diz on EG has been playing a lot of Ancient Apparition. Although that could just be sticking in my mind because I saw a couple particularly good games from him.
Anti-mage.
Anti-Mage going to be the final pick from Virtus.pro. Doesn't
Radiant's
really
team
surprise me.
pick.
They have what they need to run a very good defensive tri-lane with the Bane and the Shadow Demon and make sure the Anti-Mage can't really be contested. So they're just going to try and get him a very quick Battle Fury, farm him up like crazy. And Airman, particularly good at that. But they're going to have to worry about a lot of mid-game pressure being applied by Fnatic, because this is a mid-game team right here. Batrider, Lifestealer, Gyrocopter. Now we're going to see if they want to
10
get
seconds
one more
remaining.
support for that tri-lane, or if they're going to get a different mid and run a support Gyro.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
That is a lot of low health heroes for that Ancient Apparition to put the ultimate on. Drop the Ancient Apparition ultimate, hit a Gyrocopter ultimate on top of a couple people, and tag them once maybe with a Lifestealer. People are just going to start dropping. Bane, Shadow Demon, Nyx. Obviously, you have to dodge that spiked Carapace on the Nyx. The reason that hero is so good. Because you have an amazing stun, amazing mana burn, you have really great, team fight control and burst, and then you can't actually lock him down. You can't do anything about him because that Carapace is so good.
10 seconds remaining.
Obviously, that's an exaggeration. You can do something about him. And Bounty Hunter picked up, so it looks like a support Gyrocopter, an offlane Bounty Hunter, and then a Lifestealer Gyrocopter AA tri-lane. That is going to be so mean. I wonder if that... I don't actually know how Chilling Touch interacts with Flat Cannon. If all of the spread attacks from Flat Cannon all get the Chilling Touch debuff. If they do, that's going to be completely and totally brutal. Especially if they go for a try versus try setup. Which I feel like they could. I think, but at the same time, Bane, Shadow Demon, and Anti-Mage is so good defensively. They may not get a bunch of kills on you, but you're not really going to stop the Anti-Mage. And when you're really relying on that Lifestealer to get farmed up, I don't think you want to cripple his farm by putting him in the aggressive lane like that. We'll see if
10
Fnatic
seconds
thinks
remaining.
differently than I do.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright. Really quickly, we're going to have VP's lineup. Airman playing the Anti-Mage. Santa on the Darkseer.
Everybody get
KSI on the Bane. Crazy on the Nyx. And NS on the Shadow Demon. Going over to Fnatic's side, we're going to have Fly on the Ancient Apparition, Era on his signature Lifestealer. It pretty much has been his signature hero this patch. Hani on the Gyrocopter, Trixie on the Bounty Hunter, and No Tail on the Bat Rider. I guess they could still run a jungle Bat, throw the offlane Bounty Hunter, because No Tail does a lot of the jungling. He only really plays mid on a couple of very signature heroes. And that way they would be able to get Hani a lot of good farm in the mid lane on that Gyrocopter, if they decide to lane it that way. They could also dual lane the mid with Fly and Era, and then safe lane Hani with the jungle Bat Rider support, and just put Trixie up against the tri-lane up top.
30 seconds to go.
Because there's an anti-mage. It's a defensive tri-lane. You don't really have... You're not going to do anything else with that. Anyway, each team heading to their own jungle, just trying to make sure they get adequate control, meaning probably they're both going to be running defensive tri-lanes, or at least defensive farming lanes of some kind. And there we go. No Tail setting up for the mid pulse, just taking out all of those trees for this easy camp, so it can be very easily pulled
And they're
right
off.
through here. I wish that would at least like put stuff on the map for me when I drew, or on the, you know, this section when I drew on the map. But woe is me. Valve, change your client for my purposes. Yeah, alright, yeah, it's gonna be Hani on the mid Gyrocopter. So, alright. Era and AA down there. Yeah, solo Darks here, obviously gonna get some farm, gonna get, you know, just because the Ion Shells, and it's gonna get pretty annoying for that Lifestealer. Oh, they're already gonna go on him. They got the slow coming out from Era. So much damage coming out. That level 1 open wounds. Are they gonna kill him? I think they might if they chase him down like this. Oh, Fly still has that haste rune. Yeah, Santa getting lower, getting lower. He still has that shield. Didn't quite get him. Is Fly gonna die to the tower?
Pretty sight right
No,
now.
but he's... I think he's gonna get killed by that range creep now. He pops a salve to make sure that he lives through the next auto attack. Oh, unfortunate. Santa's gonna salve up and go right back in. Oh no, maybe he's just gonna go right into the jungle. Doesn't want to deal with that. Did he? What did he? Yeah, okay, he skilled Chilling Touch. That's why they were doing so much damage. I was thinking, you know, maybe he could have skilled Cold Feet and secured them that, but the Chilling Touch is what let them actually deal that tremendous amount of damage to Santa so quickly. And yeah, Trixie also not even gonna contest the lane up there. So he's just gonna go and hang out and get his experience mooching off No Tail. Because you don't really want him to be mooching off your Bat Rider, because as much as you want the Bounty Hunter to get 6, to have some burst damage and be able to start racking you up track gold, you really want that Bat Rider to be 6 as well. I'm wondering if maybe Trixie will just try to level off other pulls while Fly stacks up and ends up the underleveled one. Our mid matchup, we have the Nyx at 2-2 and the Gyro at 7-3, so definitely favoring Hani over these first couple of minutes. I mean, obviously, before you have spiked Carapace, before you have some decent levels in your nukes, it is kind of easy to get outlaned by a ranged hero as Nyx Assassin. So we'll have to give him a couple levels and see if that picks up. Our two carries, obviously, just farming. 12-7 for Airman, 11-4 for Era. Crazy taking a tower shot he didn't really need to. Oh, Trixie looks like he wants to come in. Oh, Trixie getting a little bit of farm in the mid lane here, just while Hani goes and bottles up that Invis rune, making sure they're not wasting any possible farm on the map. And now, having seen him just disappear there, he has to think at least a bit. Maybe the Bounty Hunter is hanging around, but he's already moved through. Oh, is he gonna? He finds Santa. He doesn't have the levels for a whole lot of burst, and he instantly has to Shadow Walk again. Santa does see him. He didn't quite get up the hill fast enough, so he's gonna just surge away and be safe. Regardless, without at least one level in Janata, Trixie wouldn't be able to chase him down anyway. He could harass him here in the jungle some. But, oh, is there anything interesting on that courier? Oh, he gets spotted again! He's not timing his recasts of Smoke Bomb particularly well to try and get these little stealthy ganks off. Gotta be very, very careful with the level 1 Smoke Bomb. Shadow Walk, Smoke Bomb, whatever it is. I don't know why I keep calling it Smoke Bomb. Trixie he's gonna steal a couple creeps from Santa here, but that's a lot of damage he's gonna take from that Ion Shell. Even though it's only level 1, against a level 1 Bounty Hunter, it's pretty painful. Hani's still getting the best of this mid lane. 19-4 against a 4-2 Nyx. That's a really slow start for Crazy over there. And if that Nyx assassin doesn't get a lot, just have a lot of kind of mid game presence, the mid game presence from Fnatic, just for the sake of, based on their heroes and based on the fact that their key sort of heroes are getting at least a bit of what they need to at the moment. No Tail level 4 already on that jungle Batrider, and he's just doing the pulls to make sure the Nyx can't get anything either and slow him down. He could, if he wanted to, jungle even more quickly with this camp right here, going up and down the cliff with the Firefly. But at the same time, since they have the Radiant mid lane advantage, they can get the pulls done. He wants to make sure that Crazy isn't making no impact whatsoever on this game. Again, more just farming going on right now. Neither side seems particularly interested in engaging. Trixie hanging out up here now that this sentry ward that they had dropped earlier was gone. Seeing if maybe he can steal some of these hard creeps right here. Doing a quick lane pull, try to get something done. Looks like he's gonna actually successfully lane pull into Dire's creeps. Now Airman gonna take all of his mana, so he can't actually Shadow Walk away anymore. That's a dangerous position to be in as a bounty hunter, not having Shadow Walk mana available. So he's probably going to want to just back off, play very, very safe, because a disruption or a nightmare could get him killed very quickly right now. $37-11 for the Anti-Mage, 31-14 for the Nyx, and then 28-4 against 10-2 in this mid lane. That's... I really hope Hani actually does something to capitalize on the level of farm he's getting right here, because if he doesn't, it's going to have been a waste of an excellent lane for him. Looks like we might have a smoke gank coming in here from KSI. Wants to get around and get that Nightmare off. Did Shadow Demon get spotted? NS? Oh, a quick sentry goes down. Hani, feeling that something was up, maybe he saw them smoke up somewhere, but just figuring, alright, I don't know where they are. I feel like I'm a little worried about the smoking, but there's the stun from Nyx. That's going to be the Brain Sap coming out from the Bane Elemental. Soul Catcher goes out. Hani trying to get away. Pops the call down. Is the slow going to be enough? No, the disruption's coming out. He's definitely going to go down right here. First blood comes out for Virtus Pro. So, they may have had to commit 3 heroes to do it, but they do give their Nyx Assassin a little bit back in that mid lane. They slow down that Gyrocopter, who's just destroying so far. Get themselves a good amount of gold on the side.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
Trixie just going to come pick up the farm in the mid lane, knowing he can't get anything done in the top lane. Has picked up his single level of Janata to slow people down with. Now Hani just going to come back, start flak cannoning away again. Flak cannon and rocket barrage, can't miss last hit that way. Era looks like he's going to be going for a Midas. Treads Gloves of Haste. No, he could just be going fast Armlet. You'd think he would have gone Midas before Treads if he was going for it, now that I'm really thinking about what I'm saying. Well, I actually rather like on Lifestealer, if I'm getting reasonably safe farm, I like to go Gloves of Haste before anything. Oh, there goes the Carapace coming out just to make sure that Hani couldn't actually follow up that Rocket Barrage with anything, get stunned out. He's actually maxing out the Flak Cannon instead of the Rocket Barrage, making sure he can get as many free hits as possible onto Crazy. How's Santa doing? He's level 6. Picked up Wall at level 6. That's pretty odd. Usually you get a point in Vacuum instead. Or something else. It looks like No Tail and Trixie want to take out NS right here. Stacks of Stick and Napalm coming out. Firefly is going to be used on top of that. Excuse me, Flaming Lasso is going to be used on top of the Firefly. Mixing up my ability names right there. And No Tail might be the next one in trouble here. He's getting stunned out by Crazy. Anti-Mage doing a ton of damage, and Mana Void for the kill. In the meantime, though, Era and Fly picking up bottom tower. So that's a pretty... not the greatest exchange, but 1 for 1. You got the Shadow Demon, even though you lost your Batrider for it, and as he's one of your mid-game impact heroes, it's kind of not the best trade, but getting the tower on top of that really does probably make it worth it. They got enough heroes, since all of their support needed to be responding in the woods, they couldn't actually port down to do anything about that tower.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Now it looks like they might wanna move something to get Era here. They're saying, there's a Lifestealer down there. We might want to vaguely worry about that. Lifestealer, who's now only about 700 gold, 650 gold away from his armlet at 8 minutes 40 seconds. See just how quickly he managed to pick it up, and whether he chooses to just keep farming or whether he chooses to start going really aggressive after that. I would love to see, as soon as No Tail has a Blink Dagger, that's what yeah, now he's going for the much faster jungling. He's just trying to get as much gold as possible, get up a Blink Dagger so they can do the Blink Bat Nakes bombs. Just get a whole lot of damage done off of that. Blink in, lasso, pull him back a little, Nakes bomb, just slap him around a bit. Very, very effective. Things have quieted down since that little bit of action we had in the top woods. 1-for-1 trade. KSI still hanging out in mid, trying to get Crazy a little bit safer farm. But Crazy's still only sitting at 16-3 to Hani's 47-6. That's got to be unpleasant. Again, Nyx is that hero. When you mid a Nyx, he's there to have an impact on the mid game. He's not there to get shut down and not do anything. So they have to be at least a little concerned about how this mid lane is turning out. The other lanes, obviously, I mean, as both of the carries are pretty much farming uncontested at the moment. Trixie just sitting there getting experience, not really caring. But I would be a little worried. Looks like we have action coming on the mid lane. Fiend's Grip goes on to Hani, but he gets stunned out of it by something. I think the Flame Break hit him. No Tail pulls Crazy in. Hani gonna bottle himself up just a little. No Tail still trying to get that Firefly going on. Gets Nightmare. The call down comes out, slows all three of them. Big damage coming out. Firefly is not quite. It is gonna catch Santa right there. He's gonna get finished off by an auto attack, but nobody else does go down. Lots and lots of AoE damage, but not a lot of cleanup. If only that Flak Cannon had been off cooldown right there. Fired off at so many people, would have been a lot of damage done. I think I just saw Flak Cannon get all of the Chilling Touch damage applied to it, so that's awesome, and I want to run that lane in pubs now. Tell me how confused people would be to just suddenly be taking... everyone takes a million damage. Okay, like 100, but it's 50 more damage than you would be taking. That's a lot in the early game. Okay, top tower for Fnatic. Getting reasonably low. Gonna want to defend that. Make sure the anti-mage doesn't get a particularly free tower out of it. How's he doing? Oh, is he gonna go in on something? No, he's just gonna blink in. Got his Perseverance, got his Tranquil Boots. 2100 gold, so he's about 500 gold off his Battle Fury. Will be here soon. How's Era doing? He's got his Armlet. So he's got Armlet and Treads. And for now, he's just content to push in this bottom lane. He says, alright, if you're not gonna respond to me, I know that buildings win games, so I'll just keep killing your buildings. It'll be beautiful.
Best do something about that.
Oh, but it looks like we might have a gank coming in right here. Double damage Nyx gonna come towards Era. He's got to know at least something is up here, but he's just sitting there on that tower, and there's the... He tried to bait out the rage, gets surged away, and there goes the Fiend's Grip. Era is definitely going down here. Burst coming out from everyone. Mana burn, and was that a brain set? No, it was just Fiend's Grip damage. Fiend's Grip damage for the kill. It looks like Trixie's just hanging out up here, but that is definitely going to be a dead tower very, very soon. Trixie trying to get the slowdown on NS. No Tail just laying the Firefly down. There's no way he's getting out of that one. Airman going to blink away, but No Tail trying to chase him down, but does he have Flaming Lasso? He does, but he couldn't quite get close enough, even with the Tranquils, to get it off. Obviously, Anti-Mage with his own Tranquils makes that very difficult. Such a fast hero. It looks like now Santa is trying to get a little bit of return damage. It's alright, we killed you. Now we want some chunks out of your tower. But Era doesn't really care about that. He's going to port top, help them take this top tower, and maybe Fnatic's going to group as 5 and start pushing off this. And what are we seeing here for items? Hani doesn't have his drums yet. Looks like he's going for him. He's got the bracer. Smoke is going to come out from No Tail for him and Era. They're going to be looking through the jungle, it appears, trying to catch someone. They probably won't catch Airman. Oh no, they're going to be going towards the mid lane, trying to catch one of these retreating heroes. Maybe pick off Crazy very quickly so he can't have an impact. But with KSI there, it's got to be very, very hard to actually get anything done. And oh, Airman getting too close to them while they're in the river. So Era getting revealed. So the jig is up now for Fnatic. They're not going to be able to get anything done off that smoke. Unfortunate. No Tail just going to, you know, say, hey, screw trees.
Bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Burn them down. Man, Batrider loves fire.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
Hani just porting down to the bottom lane, getting his farm back on. Again, probably going to want to... He should pretty much be able to finish his drum right now if he wants to. If that is indeed what he's going for, and I'm not, you know, just completely off the mark here. But you'd think once they have that drum, between a drum on the gyrocopter and an armlet on the Nakes, you can just probably start grouping as 5 and try to end this before the anti-mage gets too powerful. Because he's got his Battle Fury. Airman's farm is just going to start going nuts now. Got a very, very early Battle Fury, about 12 or 13 minutes, based on when I item checked him earlier, is my estimate. So, I mean, Lifestealer's not going to outfarm that. You didn't go Midas on the Lifestealer. You know you're not going to outfarm that. You know you have to go for a mid-game win. Looks like we do have an engagement here on a no-tail. He's going to get picked off by a combination of 4 heroes coming out. And, oh, Airman blinking in, but just taking one swing before he gets tracked and backs off. Looks like they might want to push S5 and take this mid-tower. No, they're just going to retreat and go farm. Just trying to dissuade Fnatic a little bit. But Fnatic, not easily dissuaded, apparently. They're going to come right into this mid-tower, and Airman now elsewhere, so his damage will not be present. Just going to go farm.
Them Dire buildings are tough as nails.
However, all of Fnatic says, we want your buildings. We know what wins games, and it's buildings. Virtus Pro thinking about engaging, but finally deciding, no, this isn't worth it. We're not going to be able to save that. Let's just back off. It's like Airman going to get Ice Blasted, and then Era going to come in to try and make sure that this tower ends up denied in the end. Hopefully. Oh, Airman came in to try to do something about it. Oh, he blinks in. Is he going to get killed before the blink comes out? He is! Too much damage coming out from Era with that armlet already in the rage. Just a complete underestimation of the amount of damage Era could put out from Airman there. What level is his blink? He's got the level 4 blink, so that's 5 seconds. Under 5 seconds, Era just took him full dead with that armlet. Good job by Era just saying, you know what, I know I can kill him that quickly, and unfortunately for Airman, that's going to slow down his farm quite a bit. Nice vacuum coming in, getting both No-Tail and Hani into the wall. Lots of damage coming out. Hani's going to go down, No-Tail going to follow, and that tower is going to follow as well. I don't know what they were really thinking porting into 4 right there. I mean, maybe some miscommunication coming out from Fnatic, but even if you have a tower, generally 2 versus 4 not something you're going to win. And Lifestealer now pretty much has a clock on his effectiveness, now that he's burned about 2,000 gold on Vlad's instead of a higher impact item. So, I mean,
trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom
especially
tower.
if you're going to hold on to that, it's not really a best-in-slot damage item, but it is very effective at getting your pushes going, getting a lot of mid-game power going, making sure everyone stays alive, stacking up armor, stacking up lifesteal, and just giving everyone that nice damage boost to help bring down towers faster. Trixie going to get disrupted very quickly. Soul Catch is going to be dropped, but just a track going out on NS in return. No, Trixie's own illusions betraying him. Quick AAL gonna catch NS, which, considering they can see him, is actually pretty nice. But they're not actually going to be able to catch up fast enough to get any sort of extra damage applied. Bring him down for that track gold. How are we doing on the graphs? Looks like Virtus Pro actually has about a 1500 XP advantage, and Fnatic has about a 1500 gold advantage. So, makes sense. I mean, Virtus Pro doing a lot more spread out sort of farming, leveling themselves up, especially Airman in particular. He's off farming, while Fnatic is kind of 5-man pushing around. It looks like they want to slow down for a second. They want to get themselves a little more farms. No-Tail, how close is he to his Blink Dagger? 950 off his Blink Dagger still. Not really getting that as quickly as he would have wanted to. I guarantee you he wanted that sooner. But Hani looks like he's going to be going for Shadow Blade, and Disconnect comes out from the Shadow Demon. So, let's speed it up. The best part about replays, being able to speed right through the pauses. Because in a real game, I mean, I love live games, don't get me wrong, but considering I don't have the clout to get into them, I'll take what I can get. And there are some nice things about it being a replay cast. Fits my schedule, easy to speed through things. Long pause. I guess it took NS quite a bit of time to get himself fixed up here. Let's do a quick item check in the meantime. Alright. Going through. Still just that Armlet and Vlad's on the Lifestealer, Soul Ring and Tranquil on the Bounty Hunter, and there we go. Let's set it down to 1x, because NS is back. Wand Boots, Battle Fury, Tranquils, Ghost Scepter already coming out on the
Alright,
Bane. Ghost
carry
Scepter and
on.
Arcane Boots. So that's actually a pretty reasonably farmed Bane from the 204. And Ghost Scepter just makes sure that Lifestealer can't just eat him. Like, and also, I mean, the Gyrocopter as well, putting up plenty of damage with the Gyrocopter. If you're popping a Ghost Scepter, you better hope he's not right next to you, because that Rocket Barrage will tear right through you in the meantime. Mech, Arcane Boots, and Soul Ring done on the Darkseer. And Arcane Boots, all that Crazy has, that's, I mean, again, I was talking about how in the mid lane, he was going to be kind of relegated to having less of a role in the mid game because of that. Oh, and looks like No Tail's coming in. He's going to lasso Crazy right back out. He gets stunned by the Carapace, which goes off just in time. The AAL is going to come out, but lots of supports coming in from Virtus Pro. Looks like they're going to have a 5-man support coming in here. Wall is going to catch several. So much return damage coming out on Fnatic. They just dove way further than they needed to. Hani gets canceled out of his port by that Fiend's Grip. And that's a free 2 kills from that really aggressive dive coming out from Fnatic. They had to know the TPs were ready. But I guess they didn't expect that much of a response. I also think they expected to be able to pull him farther away before the Carapace got off, but obviously, Crazy's finger is just too fast for No Tail right there. And now, I'm just going to retreat back to farming. Looks like they're going to try to push the mid lane while Airman farms up the Ancients. Sticky Napalm stacks coming out from No Tail. Plenty of fire to dissuade that push, and that looks like it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's hot in there. Don't really feel like pushing into that. Whoop, I should close that again. This is still a pretty even match. 4,000 experience advantage, and now the gold advantage actually dipping down towards 0 for Virtus Pro. So they're actually getting a better and better position, and that's all Airman. That's all how quickly he's farming. He's finished his Yasha right now. Just the speed at which he can clear creeps all over the map and then just move to a different part of the map to keep clearing. Very, very few people can farm as fast as an anti-mage. It's just a fact of the hero. And it's part of the reason he carries so hard, just because he gets so much gold so quickly. Also, you know, having, what is it, like a 1.3 base attack time or something like that, instead of the traditional 1.7 for... I believe there's only one other hero that breaks that rule, and that's Windrunner at 1.5, but I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me, as usual. But having that 1.3 base attack speed means anything that makes him swing faster makes him swing even faster. Assuming I understand attack speed mechanics properly. Again, correct me if I don't. Going back to it's been a very passive game considering it's Fnatic. And Virtus Pro has, you know, a reasonably powerful mid-game lineup as well. They could be getting a lot done with that. Well, no, they couldn't. Again, the Nyx. He's picked up his Blink Dagger now. Big impact item for a Nyx. Very reliable disable. Very reliable initiation. Just a quick blink in. I mean, it's a pretty safe bet. You know, in pubs, obviously, the Nyx combo, you Vendetta somewhere across the map, you stab someone, then you follow up with your spells. In a higher level of play, when you have to expect that people know when you're kind of roaming with Vendetta, having the ability to blink in, like save the Vendetta completely, blink in, land a stun your combo, then just Vendetta for the burst if you need it, is much, much, much more effective than just relying on Vendetta to get you on top of people. It also means that you can burn your stun, like, you can blink in and use your stun to initiate on people, rather than, if they start to turn away while you're in Vendetta, you have to make the choice between, do you want to chase them a while so you still get your Vendetta damage off, or do you want to just burn the stun, lose the Vendetta damage? Airman now saying, this is my jungle now. Era hanging out here, might want to be careful. There's 5 players from Virtus Pro heading this way. Not that they've really realized it. They don't have any warding over in this section of the map. All of it is kind of closer to the mid lane and the jungle entrance right here coming out of the river. Oh, Era. Oh no, that's just an illusion. I was real scared for that illusion. And Era just gonna farm the Ancients. Oh no, just gonna stack the Ancients and then farm the Ancients. He should have enough life leech to do it. Between both being Lifestealer and having a Vlad's. No Tail does have his Blink Dagger. Looks like he just picked that up, so that'll be excellent initiation coming out from Fnatic. Let them get pick-offs much more effectively. And if they can get the Anti-Mage really quickly, I I mean, again, with the underfarmed Nyx, he has his blink, but not a lot else. Oh, it looks like they might be coming in for mid. Thinking about blinking in. Couple of ion shells laid down. Airman gonna blink in first, and Fnatic's just gonna retreat. They feel that this is not worth messing with. Something is probably happening here if Airman is blinking in so confidently where they know there's a Bat Rider. Well, they are going to burn fort. Are they going to defend it? I don't think so. They're just going to try and get this top tower in the meantime. Hani just blowing creeps up with flak cannon. There goes that mid tower. They're going to try to fort top and defend it? Or are they going to just... Alright, there goes the fort coming out. Port coming in from Crazy on the next assassin. Just going to stun the creeps, try to get a little bit of delay, and he does get the deny.
Just disown that top tower.
So a little bit of a win there for VP. They got the mid tower, actually got the mid tower, and managed to force out a deny on the top tower. So a bit of a gold advantage coming out from them right there. And we now stand at a little less than a 5,000 experience advantage and barely any gold advantage for Virtus Pros. This is still anyone's game, but I feel that Fnatic are the ones who have to feel like they're kind of under pressure here. Like, as well, it's anyone's game to take at this very moment. The longer it strays on, the worse this anti-mage is going to get. And he has his Manta style already now. Finish that out. And another 1,600 gold to boot. I probably missed that Manta pickup. Oh, but it looks like they might be going... Oh, Era, did you show? Did you... Oh, you showed. No Tail was so close. You just strayed a little too far out of that jungle. Cost you guys a free chance on that anti-mage. Unfortunate, and you know, any kill on that anti-mage. Oh, looks like they're gonna get the disruption up very quickly on Airman. Send out a... Oh, are they gonna try to bait out the lasso? No, but no one's there. Shame. Would have been pretty good bait.
Guess what's
with
happening?
The single disruption illusion. Excuse me. And Fnatic's just gonna spread out, and start farming again. But I'm not. On the one hand, I get you don't want to push into a Darkseer, especially because Wall is just so good. But you know, you don't want to push into the disable they have, and Hani just getting caught out completely. Port's chopped to try and get himself some farm, gets caught by Nyx and Bane. That is a nasty combo to deal with. You know, quick burst coming out, and then if you think you're gonna get away, Bane just holds you until all of Nyx's cooldowns are up, except maybe the Vendetta. And now the VP's gotten that quick kill on the gyrocopter, looks like Airman at the very least really wants to push top lane. Been a very slow and methodical sort of Dota game right here. Oh no, they're gonna take Roshan. And yeah, I mean, there's not really any warding. I mean, the closest ward for Fnatic is right here watching. Oh, but they know that it's happening. They're sending in that Ice Blast. Gonna get some damage done, prevent any sort of life leech or regen. But I think VP will still get this. Although it would be kind of funny if someone got backlocked to death by Roshan, because that mech is gonna come out. And yeah, that's gonna be a free Roshan for VP. No attempts to stop it by Fnatic, even though they knew they were there. But I guess they just didn't feel they could get there in time to really have an impact on it. And that's a real bad sign for Fnatic, because it's basically 6 minutes where you don't want to... You don't feel comfortable pushing in, because you have an anti-mage who's reasonably farmed with an Aegis. So obviously you can't really focus him, because if you burn all your stuff focusing him down, you suddenly have another anti-mage, and he finishes up his Vlad's, gets himself... So treads, Vlad's, Manta, Battle Fury, and an Aegis. That is a pretty scary 26-minute anti-mage. And he has basically 6 minutes to just farm as much as he wants, because Fnatic can't pressure them right now because of that Aegis, and because of the fact they have... Also because they have the Darkseer, of course, who has also picked up a Ghost Scepter. Ghost Scepter's all around coming out for Virtus Pro, and very solid against the Lifestealer. If they try to do just a quick pick-off with any sort of open wound slow, just pop the Ghost Scepter, walk away when the open wounds is over. And Fnatic look like they want to start trying to trade this bottom for the mid tower, but the bottom is already pretty messed up and already going to go down, so Fnatic definitely losing the push race in this situation. Still, the damage is coming out, but are they going to... As Virtus Pro, yeah, they're just going to push the uphill. They know they have the Aegis. They don't care. They're in for the... You know, they're in to win this right now if they can. Or at least take a Rax. But taking an anti-mage taking a Rax before the other team does is always a bad sign. Looks like they're not quite going to get the tower, but look at all that damage that's done. At least Fnatic got this mid-tower. But now, you know, they're in a pretty poor situation here. Now, oh, huge call down wall coming down, getting a lot of heroes caught in it. And Era going to be picked off as well. The blink coming in from Airman to finish him off. That's alright. Era going to buy back, but at the same time, they did not, I believe, use the Aegis. Yeah, they didn't use the Aegis on Airman, and that's so your Batrider's down. Your reliable initiation, your good anti-mage disabler is down. And you're losing a Rax right now because you can't engage on Virtus Pro. They're going to try and get a bit of an Ice Blast out, get a good start on that, stop the Life Leech from coming out. Santa going to get open wounds, but just surge himself away. VP just going to kind of spread out a little, make sure they're not going to get AoE'd by a call down or by Flat Cannon. And Era getting hugely messed up by those Flat Cannon, or by those Manta style illusions. And wow, Hani dropped fast, faster than I could even think. Mech's going to come out to get Virtus Pro some of their health back, and they're all still in good health. The lowest is Santa, who's a little bit above half. And now with Hani dead, they still can't defend. Because they were kind of pushing and poking a little, and they're like, alright, we want to do something about this. But it wasn't particularly safe for them to engage. They knew Airman had the Aegis, and so they tossed away Hani before they actually had a fight. And the GGs come out. They knew that when that Rax is dead, Airman already has too much of an advantage. They can't fight against him, and they just lost a Rax against an anti-mage. Their team was slowly losing out on any sort of race to gain power.
Dropped out like a kid in school.
That's, you know, they picked a very potent mid-game lineup, and I think Fnatic just got outplayed there. They didn't really execute it very well. Whereas VP did exactly what they need to. You know, they got, even after their mid-game power heroes, like the Nyx, didn't do particularly well in the early game phase, they got what they needed, and they found the defensive kills they needed instead of going out and hunting for kills, because they knew they can fall back on the anti-mage in the late game. Alright, well, that's that for game 1. We will move on to game 2, see if Fnatic can start a little bit of a run back. I'm going to kill the stream so y'all don't see how many replays there are, as usual. And I'll be back in just a second.